I don't know that they think of us as my lawyer who's doing the legal things, but they think of us as the people that are helping them change their lives.
I think the Children's Law Center is a wonderful, wonderful organization providing really needed services for families in the District of Columbia. I think it's a beautifully run organization, has wonderful support from their staff and also from the community, particularly the community of lawyers.
One of the things we do as legal services lawyers is try to make sure that children who come to us, no matter which of the programs they use to access our lawyers, leave Children's Law Center healthier.
It's an outstanding medical legal partnership. That would be the phrase that I would use to describe it, in which experts in the field of medicine and the field of law come together to help a particular family in terms of the health outcomes of that particular child.
Children's Law Center's Health Access Project is a medical legal partnership with Children's National Medical Center.
Most of us not only love our children, but we have the time and the resources to make them safe and healthy and raise them to be well educated. But if you go out the door and down the street and past the Capitol and across the Anacostia River, there are thousands of families who love their children just as much, but don't have the time or the resources or the skills to give their children what they know their children need to flourish.
Number one illness that we see obviously is asthma. And asthma is exacerbated by substandard housing conditions. I've had several cases where I've been fortunate enough to have an attorney to help me get these children into better living conditions. And clearly that definitely will decrease the number of emergency room visits. Less days missed of school, they're able to function in a good, healthy learning environment, and overall in the long run just lead to a better quality of life.
One of my clients has an apartment that's owned by DC Housing Authority, and there's a really bad mice infestation.
We've been having a problem for like, let's say a year. A year after we moved in, the mice were so bad, as though they were jumping out the buckets, they were jumping out the closet. I would have company over, they would come in the middle of the floor.
And she's tried for years to get them to adequately repair the mice infestation because the presence of mice exacerbates her daughter's asthma and allergies.
They tried to, plaster the hose up, put down poison. They came right back. She started breathing real funny, and she was admitted to the hospital. They told me she had asthma.
Children with chronic illnesses, specifically asthma and allergies, never get better unless they're in appropriate housing conditions.
Eventually, after several hospitalizations, the doctor referred this family to the Health Access Project at the Children's Law Center so that we could try and get the family transferred to another unit, since the DC Housing Authority doesn't seem able to make the repairs that are necessary to prevent this little girl from getting sick.
Parents frequently tell us that they have been fighting for years to get their child what they know is the kind of education that child needs.
If a child obviously is not receiving a proper education, that has long-term consequences, most of which lead to their increased risk of having poverty and other illnesses related to poverty.
He wasn't learning anything. It just didn't seem like he was making any progress. They just kept on saying, oh yes, he's doing this, he's doing that. I'm like, no. When he gets home, it doesn't look like it. He just started backtracking a lot. This is a kid that's been already 4 years in the system, and to me, it doesn't seem like he can read a book all by himself. I just really didn't feel anyway that I will have a way out. I didn't, because if I've gone for so many years to school, to so many people that do the IEP meetings and say, look, this is what's wrong with my kid, he's not learning. I wasn't familiar with that there's lawyers for education, which that opened my eyes. I said, okay, I guess there's a way out. After I got the lawyers at Children's Law Center, I had my first meeting. I walked in with a lawyer, an assistant lawyer, and an investigator. And I was like, look at me. Because I always used to go alone for so many years. 20 minutes later, they start calling the speech therapist, the psychologist. It was just, everybody had to be there. So it was a good feeling.
One thing I like to say about Children's Law Center is at about 2:30, our office is empty, because that's when DC Public Schools get out for the day. And that's when our lawyers hit the streets.
One of our clients reached us in crisis. He was a child that couldn't stay in the classroom on any day, who had left the class in the school building unsupervised. His mother found him on the street, sobbing, crying for his mother. Nobody knew he'd left the school. And on one occasion, even tried to hang himself in the classroom.
They called me and had me to come up to the school. And when I got to the school, the guard was telling me and was showing me a picture about how he was trying to hang himself.
We went to a due process hearing for that case and were able to get Hasante placed in a therapeutic, full-time special education school.
We was going to bed one night and he just went to sleep and he woke back up. He said, "Oh, Mama, it's time for me to get up and go to school." I said, "No, it's not." I said, "It's 2 o'clock in the morning." He said, "But I love my new school, Mom." He said, "I want to go to school." I said, "Well, what you love about it?" He told me, he said, "Well, I love my teachers. I love my classmates." He said, "It's fine." And he said, "And I love talking to them. You know, they don't pick at me, you know, and that helps me." He comes home and he'll tell me, he'll say, "Well, Mama, let me read this to you." He'll get this little book, this little pamphlet that they bring home from school, and he'll read it to me. And I'll say, "Well, do you want me to help you with this?" He's like, "Oh, no, Mama, I don't need your help now. I can do it by myself now, you know, and stuff." So after he finished doing it, you know, he'd be so happy and so great about himself, you know, until he said, "Now, Mom, I can help you."
I cannot address all the needs alone of these kids. We have kids who have a multitude of very severe medical issues. And having the Children's Law Center right here, located in the health facility, is just a phenomenal resource.
Having these two teams of experts work together, it's really complementary.
This is work that you carry with you, not because it's stress or for any legal reason, but you know families. You get to know what their lives are like. You get to know what it is to be in their community. We pick them up, we drive them places, we go to meetings with them, and we understand why the work we're doing is changing something for them. We understand that they are staying up at night thinking about their child running away, or not being able to sit through a school day, or not learning how to read, or in a home with so much mold they can't breathe at night because of the asthma. And that's why it's meaningful to work here, because you can see that change. Over a period of months, you can see a child who wasn't learning how to read, who now wants to teach his mother how to read. Or you can see a child that wasn't sleeping through the night because he wasn't breathing, who suddenly is in a home that's been cleaned up and has no more mold and can go live his life like a normal kid. We get the chance to know families and get to know our community.